Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my NBA DraftKings picks for Tuesday, December 5th. We got a short slate today on this Tuesday, just a 3-game slate. So I'm not going to go through each position. Instead, I'm just going to go through the player pool and talk about some guys I'm looking to target. Not going to touch on every single player, but talk about the guys that really stand out to me. So starting up top today, we've got Russell Westbrook. He's really the only 10K and above stud on this slate. He's 11K, playing at home against the Jazz. I usually say always pay up for the studs on short slates, but I don't think you have to play Westbrook here. This is definitely not the most optimal spot. The Jazz, they're good defensively. They play at a slow pace, and these teams have already faced once this year. And Westbrook, he did not have that great of a game. Only put up 36 DraftKings points when these teams faced earlier this year. Just 6 points and 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Didn't do a ton scoring. The peripherals were still there. But Westbrook didn't really perform well when he faced the Jazz earlier this year. He is still 11K, which is a high price tag. You're going to need at least probably 55, 60 to pay for him on this slate. There are some other options that are cheaper, like Damian Lillard at home against Washington, Kyle Lowry at home against Phoenix, DeRozan against Phoenix. So definitely some options you can go to. Obviously, Westbrook has the most upside out of anybody on this slate, but I don't think he's a must play. I think there are some other options we can target. Maybe a guy like Kyle Lowry, 8,700, playing at home against the Suns. Obviously, this is a high price tag for Kyle Lowry. 8,700 does seem like a lot to pay for him, but he has been playing well lately. Does have a couple 50 burgers in his game log in his last 4 games. 57, 55 against the Pacers and the Hornets. 43 against the Hawks. Only put up 31 against the Pacers when he faced them again. But this is a prime spot for Kyle Lowry. The Suns can't defend really any position, and they play at a very fast pace. They're not a good defensive team. If this game stays competitive, really good spot for Kyle Lowry. Definitely a guy I think you can pay up for. I'd probably prefer him over DeRozan today since they're so similar in price. Usually there's a difference, but if we're just talking about raw projections, since these guys are so similar in price, I definitely project Lowry for more points than DeRozan. But DeRozan, you can play Lowry and DeRozan together. Definitely something that's valuable in tournaments because both of those guys could just totally go off. But if you just had to choose between one, I think I'd prefer Lowry over DeRozan. But one of my favorite plays on the slate is at 8K, Devin Booker going up against the Raptors in that same game. Devin Booker just been playing really well lately. Played 39 minutes against Boston in their last game. 38 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. As I'm recording this video on Monday night, Booker played really well on Monday against the Sixers. Had like 40 points, I think. Just totally went off. The dude has so much upside. Even though he's expensive at 8K today, he has so much upside that he can pay off this price tag. So I really like Devin Booker today. Obviously, the matchup with DeMar DeRozan is not optimal, but it's a 3-game slate. You're not going to be able to make really optimal choices on this slate. Since there aren't really a ton of options, you're probably going to have to play guys in tough matchups. So Devin Booker, even though he's probably going to see DeRozan, I still love the spot for him. The dude just gets so much usage. He pretty much powers that offense. And if this game stays competitive, DeRozan, Lowry, Booker, these guys could just totally go off. So definitely think you can stack this game. Even though there is blowout potential, I thought there was blowout potential in that game against the Sixers, and it was actually really competitive. The Suns actually wound up winning. So I think you are going to want to get some exposure to this game on both sides. Devin Booker, Lowry, DeRozan, all those guys are good plays today. Looking for options in this mid-tier that we can target, or some options here that I like. I think at center today you don't have a ton of options. You're either probably going to play Gobert or Nurkic. I don't know if I want to go to Steven Adams against Gobert. That's a really tough matchup. If we're just choosing between Gobert or Nurkic, I'd probably prefer Gobert if we're just talking about picking a center. As I'm recording this video, Gobert is coming back from injury. He's playing right now against Washington, I believe, and he's having a solid game. I'm not sure if he was on a minutes restriction or not for Monday, but if he's not on a restriction today, definitely like this spot for him going up against OKC. When these teams did face off earlier this year, Gobert did have a solid game. 16 points, 13 rebounds, just the typical Gobert game, 38 DraftKings points. So if we're talking about centers today, and you're going to pay up at center, I'd prefer Gobert over Nurkic. If we're choosing for a guy in that price range. And then some other options in this mid-tier. Otto Porter at 6,900 I think is a really good spot today. I think if I'm getting exposure to Washington, probably going to do it with Porter. Don't know if I'll be on Bradley Beal here. I do really like this spot for Porter. He played well when these teams faced off earlier this year, put up 49 DraftKings points, 24 points, and 10 rebounds. Definitely a good spot for Porter. Should be a high scoring game. Should also be pretty competitive. I think if we're just talking about all the Washington players, I think Porter's going to have the better game out of all the other guys. Like Beal, I'd prefer Porter over Beal if I'm getting exposure to Washington today. And if I'm paying up at shooting guard, I'm going to Devin Booker over Beal. So really like Porter from Washington. I think he's one of the guys you can get exposure to in that mid-tier. If you're going small forward, power forward, if you're going to that price range, I think he makes plenty of sense. Then other options that we can target here. Don't know if I want to go to Marcin Gortat. The guy just sort of been so inconsistent. And he's not that cheap either, $5,200. He's going to need like $25, $30 to pay off that price tag, and he really hasn't been doing that lately. I think he is going to have to play minutes because they're going to need him to guard Nurkic, so you probably could go there if you need to go cheap at center. We don't have a ton of options today. If I can pay up for center, I'm going to Rudy Gobert today, but I'd say Gortat's probably your cheap option if you do need to go for a cheap option. We could target like Jonas Valanciunas, but he just doesn't get enough minutes. Great matchup against the Suns. If Valanciunas would get like 25, 30 minutes, this would be a total smash spot. But the guy just doesn't get enough minutes. You just look at his last 4 games, 14, 20, 22, 21 minutes. The minutes aren't there. The Suns usually always have one big on the floor, whether it be Chandler, Monroe, or Alex Len. So guys like Valanciunas, somebody's going to have to guard them. They're going to need guys with size. So Valanciunas, BAKA, they're going to have to be out there on the floor. So maybe you target them in tournaments. Obviously, if you're playing cash games today, those guys don't really make a ton of sense because they haven't played any minutes all year. But Valanciunas does have a ton of upside when he gets minutes, and when he's on the court, he's going to do a lot. He's going to grab rebounds. He'll score the ball as well. So I think he makes sense as a cheap option at center. But getting away from centers, talking about more options in this mid-tier that I skipped over. I don't think I have a ton of interest in Derek Favors because with Gobert coming back, that really hurts Favors. Obviously, CJ McCollum, I didn't touch on him, but he's obviously in play. It's a 3-game slate. You can really play anybody on a 3-game slate. Donovan Mitchell, even though he's expensive at $7,100, you can play him. I think I'd prefer McCollum over him because it's definitely a tough matchup for Mitchell. He's probably going to have to see Roberson defense. We know we like to avoid Roberson because he's a solid defender. So I think if you're going to like the 7K range at shooting guard, if you're going to pay up that much, I definitely prefer McCollum over Mitchell, but obviously both guys are in play. It's a 3-game slate. We don't have a ton of options. But looking for value plays just at all positions that we can target. Like I said, the Suns usually always have a big on the floor, so BAKA might have to play some minutes here. Great matchup, good up and pace spot. He's 5K, so we need about 25, 30 DraftKings points for him to return value, and he has sort of been doing that lately, 22, 20, 22, and 29 DraftKings points. I guess BAKA is more of a cash play because he doesn't have a ton of upside. Rarely is he going to get like 6X, 7X. But it is a matchup against the Suns. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he definitely had a good game here. And if this game does stay close and it is competitive, I think it's a good spot for BAKA. So at 5K, obviously he makes sense on this slate. Just three games. We don't have a ton of options. BAKA is definitely in play. And if we're just looking for some value plays on this slate, we can attack the Suns with their bigs, but I never get these guys right. Greg Monroe, Alex Len, Tyson Chandler. Usually one of them always has a big game. Usually the one who starts is usually the one that plays the most minutes. So if Chandler starts, I know he's been starting lately. He could be a potential value option for cheap at center at $4,300. I did play him the other day on that early slate. I believe it was Saturday. It was like a 3-game early slate. I did play him going up against Boston. He did start in that game, and he played 28 minutes, got 14 points and 18 rebounds. Really nice game from Chandler, 42 DraftKings points. So if he's going to start, I would imagine they're going to need him to play minutes. Whenever Valanciunas is out there, another one of the Suns' bigs is going to have to be out there. And I feel like even to guard BAKA, they're probably going to need one of those bigs out there. So Tyson Chandler could be a potential value option. If you want to go cheap at center, $4,300, whichever Suns big get the start, I think they could be a potential value play. And I really think that's it for value today, guys. I think that's pretty much it for this. Just going through this slate. There are value options here like Tyler Ulis. You can take a stab on in tournaments. Obviously, if he's getting the minutes, he's going to be out there putting up points, but him and James have been splitting the minutes pretty much just 50-50. I don't think Ulis has really gotten close to 30 minutes just any game this year, especially as of late. I know the minutes have really been split. He does have one game in his last 4 games over 30 minutes, played 31 minutes against the Bulls, but other than those games, 20, 23, 25 minutes, 26, 32, 20, 29, so Ulis is usually locked in for mid-20s. Sometimes he'll get over 30 if he's really playing well. So it could be a tournament play, definitely not a cash play if you're playing cash today because the minutes are too inconsistent. But Ulis has been starting. If he plays well, he could get 30-plus minutes. so he could be a tournament option for value at 3,900. Tim Frazier probably won't be going there, even with John Wall out. Frazier just hasn't been getting the minutes. I'd probably prefer Satoransky over Frazier if you just choose him for like value point guard. I think Satoransky makes more sense because he's been getting the minutes. But yeah, guys, like I said, I think that's pretty much it for this video. It's a 3-game slate, so this is going to be a really short video. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you drop a like on the video and be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section or just hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. And we'll reply to your question. We'll definitely get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck tonight, guys. Peace.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, she shaking fast. Yeah, she dropping slow. Huh? What? Yeah, neck on fro. Whoa, 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 whoa.